The dense Amazon rainforest was alive with the sounds of chirping birds, rustling leaves, and the distant calls of howler monkeys. Deep within this lush green world, a drama was unfolding, one that would pit predator against predator and reveal an unlikely hero. The air was thick with humidity, and the forest floor was a maze of tangled roots and fallen leaves. It was a place where survival was a daily battle, and danger lurked around every corner. It began with a Jaguar Cub, barely 6 months old, playfully chasing a butterfly near the edge of a small clearing. The cub, named Tupi by the local researchers who had been tracking his family, was the youngest of 3 siblings. His mother, a sleek and powerful jaguar named Onsa, was nearby, keeping a watchful eye on her playful offspring. But for a moment, her attention wavered as she sniffed the air, detecting the scent of a potential meal. A peccary, a wild pig, had wandered too close, and Onsa's instincts kicked in. She crouched low, her golden eyes narrowing as she prepared to strike. That moment was all it took. A massive anaconda, its olive-green scales glistening in the dappled sunlight, had been lying in wait near the water's edge. The snake, over 15 feet long and as thick as a tree trunk, had been stalking the cub for hours. It had sensed the jaguar's distraction and seized the opportunity. With lightning speed, it struck, coiling its muscular body around Tupi in a vice-like grip. The cub let out a terrified yelp, his tiny claws scratching helplessly at the snake's impenetrable scales. Onsa heard her cub's cry and immediately abandoned her hunt. She bounded toward the clearing, her powerful muscles propelling her through the underbrush. But the anaconda was no ordinary predator. It was a master of constriction, and it had already begun to tighten its coils around Tupi, cutting off his air supply. The cub's struggles grew weaker, his cries fading into pitiful whimpers. Onsa lunged at the snake, her powerful jaws snapping at its body, but the anaconda was too large, too strong. It lashed out with its tail, striking Onsa across the face and forcing her to retreat. The jaguar circled the snake, her growls growing more desperate as she realized she was outmatched. The anaconda, sensing victory, tightened its grip even further. Tupi's breathing became shallow, his small body going limp. Just as it seemed all hope was lost, a new sound echoed through the forest, a deep, guttural roar that sent shivers down the spine of every creature within earshot. Emerging from the shadows was a massive black jaguar, his fur gleaming like polished obsidian. This was Zulu, a solitary male known to the researchers as one of the most formidable predators in the region. He had been drawn by the commotion, his instincts telling him that a potential rival, or a potential meal, was nearby. Onsa hesitated, unsure whether Zulu was a threat or an ally. Her instincts told her to protect her cub, but the black jaguar's presence was overwhelming. Zulu's golden eyes locked onto the anaconda, and with a roar that shook the trees, he charged. His powerful jaws clamped down on the snake's thick body, and the anaconda writhed in pain, releasing Tupi from its coils as it turned to face this new attacker. What followed was a battle of titans. Zulu's claws raked across the snake's scales, drawing blood, while the anaconda struck with its tail, trying to dislodge the jaguar. The forest seemed to hold its breath as the two predators clashed, their movements a blur of muscle and fury. Onsa, seeing her chance, grabbed Tupi by the scruff of his neck and dragged him to safety. She then turned back to join the fight, her maternal instincts overriding her fear of the larger male. Together, the two jaguars overwhelmed the anaconda. Zulu's strength and Onsa's ferocity proved too much for the snake, which finally retreated into the water, its body battered and bleeding. The jaguars stood side by side, their chests heaving as they watched their enemy slither away. For a moment, the forest was silent, as if holding its breath. Then Zulu turned to Onsa and let out a low, rumbling growl. It wasn't a threat, it was a warning. He had intervened this time, but he was still a solitary predator, and this was his territory. Onsa understood. She nudged Tupi, who was trembling but unharmed, and led him back into the safety of the trees. As the researchers later reviewed the footage from their hidden cameras, they were awestruck by what they had witnessed. The encounter was a rare glimpse into the complex dynamics of the rainforest, where even the fiercest predators could become unlikely allies in the face of a common threat. But the story didn't end there. Over the following weeks, the researchers noticed a change in Zulu's behavior. The black jaguar, once a solitary and elusive figure, began to appear more frequently near Onsa's territory. At first, they thought it was a coincidence, but then they captured footage of Zulu and Onsa hunting together, their movements perfectly synchronized. It seemed that the bond forged during the battle with the anaconda had created an unexpected partnership. And as for Tupi, the cub who had narrowly escaped death, he grew stronger and more confident under the watchful eyes of his mother and the enigmatic black jaguar. The researchers began to refer to Zulu as the guardian of the forest, a solitary hero who roamed the shadows, protecting the delicate balance of life in the Amazon. If you found this story touching and inspiring, please like the video, share it with others, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for following along, and we'll see you next time for more uplifting tales.